Okay, so guess what? We're here. Good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody in the chat already. Who do we got here? We got Paula's in here. Paula, how are you? Good to see you. We got Dirty Diana in here. Dee Dee is amazing. She had a great live. Was it early yesterday morning? Because it's what is it? It's 103. Today's the 30th of I believe it's March. But I was able to catch I think the last portion of her live. It was amazing. She needs some subs, so I'm going to try to get as many subs to her channel as much as I possibly can. You got a wrench, so you can throw. Dandy Linus is here. Hey, Dandy, how are you? Southern Gal's in here. Hey, Southern Gal, good to see you. Mustang's in here. Good to see Mustang always. Heather's in here. We love Heather. Heather's amazing. I hope Heather's okay. Always thinking about Heather in here. Hope everything's going good. Who else is in here? But anyways, going back to Dirty Diana, a great channel, great chat last night, great stuff. I'm going to try to push as many subs her way as possible. She's got a great channel. The beginning was more fun because everybody was more awake. That's yeah. Such as life and nights. But I think you're 4 hours behind us here on the East Coast. So nighttime to you is pretty much late night for us. But the good news is I work nights. So we were just talking crap. Oh, Heather, we missed you too. Good to see Southern Gal in here. Southern Gal's amazing. I was also over there on Farmer's channel today too. Farmer's awesome. 3 hours. You're only 3 hours behind. Maybe I'm 4 hours. Maybe I'm the oddball. I'm 4 hours behind. Farmer's awesome too. Farmer's amazing person. I was over there on his live. I think he's got all his stuff. Hey, Miranda, how are you? Good to see you. All right, enough of my babbling. I found out that the earthquake was in Thailand, not Taiwan. Did I say Taiwan? Oh, yeah. In Durham, it was an inch of snow misting. Yeah, we'll check out a map shortly here to show you guys what we're going through here in the great northern woods, northeast. Anyways, yeah, sorry about that. I must have typed wrong. Myanmar, I think, got it the worst. But or Taiwan. We'll check out. We'll check it out. But if you haven't subbed to Sweet Dude Chibi in here, hey buddy, good to see you. I saw you. Where were you? You're over on I forget where I saw you. We're at Farmer's channel, right? Anyways, all right, let's get going. I'll be right back. It's good to see everybody in here. We're gonna hang out as long as I possibly can, but I'll see what the weather's like. So anyways, let me play an intro and I'll be right back. Good to see everybody though. Hold on a second. Let me I don't know if Southern Gals noticed this yet, but there's a lot more stuff here on StreamYard here, some new stuff, and I'm really getting sick of it because I'll probably never use it. Anyways, I'll be right back. Good to see you guys. So Farmer is one of those old time Delphi loop kind of guys. I used to see him a lot in a couple of channels, Marvin Frank and where else did I say? I used to see him in Sleuth's channel all the time. He's a great guy, just a great guy. Just wonderful talking. I mean, he's got a great voice. I said today on his channel he'd be great in sports broadcasting because he's one of those, Midwestern type voice guys that. Thank you, Southern Gal. Thank you for putting that in there. I'll try to get his link in here. I could probably find it in my history, anyways, if I didn't erase it. But good to see everybody. It's always good to see Miranda in here. Always good to see Southern Gal. Southern Gal's amazing. She's got a great channel. I don't know if you had it live last night. I'm not sure. Let me show you what's going on here. Hold on a second. And then we'll get into some of the normal shit. I know there's a lot going on. They did find Emily Pike here. So let's I do want to hold on a second. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right now. It's going to be a tough week for a lot of people, weather-wise. But this is what we're going through now. Hold on a second. You didn't. Are you okay? You know who else is great too is Arctic. Arctic Fox is great. He's fantastic with thank you, Southern Gal. It would have taken me probably 3.5 years to find that. Thank you, Miranda. So anyways, cool. Thanks. You're welcome. Let's see here. What am I doing? Good to see everybody in here too. Good to see some of the new people. If the new people want a wrench, just let me know. What we do here, everybody, you notice everybody pretty much has a wrench. That's because we try to get out as many of these good, channels as possible. Southern Gal, Dirty Diana, Paula's in here somewhere. Still waiting for Heather Brown's channel. So if you have a channel, if you know people who have channels, you can throw in here if you have a wrench. So let me know if you want one. Where's Mino Dino? I hope he's all right. Anyways, okay. Something about HCC too. Somebody said something about HCC on Dee Dee's channel last night. But anyways, let's see here. HCC is awesome. He's a great guy. Who's your cold case? So this is what we're going through here in the Northeast. And I always say here, rain this time of the year around here is not good. I keep doing it. Hold on a second. Because it's kind of at that point where anything goes here right now. You get, temperatures hovering around freezing. And sometimes it doesn't really matter if it's freezing or not. Because right now, technically, I think it's above freezing right here. But the ground is not above freezing, so anything that falls out of the sky that lands pretty much freezes on contact. So that's what's going on right now. But the good news is it doesn't seem like it's like a heavy rain here. Getting some breaks back to the west here, but all of this stuff here, all of this moisture that's falling, especially this New Hampshire right here, this is basically southern New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, they're not getting anything really. But anything that's falling, I'd say in the lower 2/3 of the state here, unless you're way down here towards the coast, is pretty much freezing on contact. So, and it doesn't take much around here to, freeze, and then the weight of the limbs and stuff causes. Dandy Linus is in here too. Dandy's amazing. Dandy's a very good person. It's good to have her here all the time. Haven't seen her, Dandy, in a while. Hope she's well. But that's what's going on around here, anyways. I didn't know if we were going to have any power here, and it could still happen. So I have no clue. But it looks like it's fairly light. It doesn't look like there's a lot. And then tomorrow, it's probably going to, right around noontime or so, get back to the 30s. So once we get past, I'd say about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, we should be all set. It should start turning over to, that's going to be 60 degrees Monday. So that's New England for you. Rain warning canceled for me in Ontario. You're in Canada? Everything was talking about him going live on HTC. Oh yeah. Hoosier Cold Case is awesome. He's I haven't known him, but I've been following him for a while on the Delphi case. He's great. All right. Anyway, so let's. What are we going to do first? Let's do. I might have something new here. Hold on. So we'll get rid of that. The hell is Dino at exactly? I wonder if he's feeling good. He was in DD's chat this morning, and our peach trees are full of blooms. That's good news. That's the only good news around here is the trees aren't fully foliage yet. So there's no leaves on the tree, so that's good. The extra weight sucks. But we lose power here all the time. He's been so mysterious lately. Yes, he has. Hope he's well. Who knows? All right, so let's do this here. Let's go to. I do want to do this here. Let's try this first. We'll go to the Emily Pike thing first, and then you'll check your shed. That's freaking hilarious. Dirty Dot, lots of very differing opinions on that case. And Dave's channel is kind of Switzerland. Some with Southern Cal's amazing. Yes. Be careful of the wrenches here because they'll just come flying at you. Usually, something duck. All right, let me get rid of my face. There we go, and we'll go here. We'll do the Emily Pike thing. Let me pull up some information about her, and then this case here is like one of those. Oh my God! Indigenous people get such a rare. It's just a bad shake. It's one of those things. But let's not dwell on the downer stuff here. She's at least they found her, right? So I'll play this first, and then we'll go to something else here regarding this. But this was Thursday marks 2 months since this was done. When was this on? This was done 2 days ago. Thursday marks 2 months before since Emily Pike was reported missing, and obviously they found her last week, I think. So let's play this here, and I'll be looking for the other.
It's been 2 months.
Let me pull up some information on her too.
Since 14-year-old Emily Pike was reported missing, and we've been piecing together a timeline as there are so many questions that still remain, like why did she leave? How did she end up 100 miles away? And who killed her?
January 27th was a Monday. Mesa police recalled the Sacred Journey, a group home for foster kids. 14-year-old Emily Pike had been in the home by Tribal Social Services. She had run away again. According to police, she left out a window, but unlike 3 prior instances, this time Emily was not back within hours.
Emily was artistic, she was kind, she was funny.
Days passed. There were no mass searches organized, no highway signs, no community-wide alert. You may not have known that the San Carlos Apache teen was missing unless you saw the flyers in the group home's neighborhood. Then on February 14th, Valentine's Day, a horrific.
All right, so let's hold on a second. Jenny's in here. Where's Jenny? Tracy Fleetwood, good to see you. Who else came in here? Jenny's here. 867-5309's in here. Hey Jenny, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see Tracy Fleetwood in here. Dr. John is a psychologist, so I have extra anger towards him. Dr. John, the musician. I'm in a weird mood tonight. I apologize. Welcome, lurkers. Who else snuck in here? Mustang starting a channel? Fantastic. Syracuse, yeah. I mean, everything's pretty close here. It just takes forever to get there. Syracuse, New York, the Finger Lakes are probably, 4 hours from here. Upstate New York is fantastic, though. Yes. Is Mustang starting a channel? That'd be awesome. Hidden True Crime. There you go. Her husband. Maybe it's HG. Another February 14th. Yeah, I know. All right, so let's do this. Good to see everybody here. Good to see Tracy Fleetwood here. Always good to see new people. It's always good to know that people are sending people this way here, but welcome to the chat. So anyways, let me share this here. So we're just going over the Emily Pike case here. Give me a second while I read this shit here. This is just a horrible case here, just terrible. All right, so these are the key points. This is from the Arizona Central, I believe this is a magazine here. Emily Pike, a 14-year-old living in Mesa group home, was found unalive weeks after running away. In an exclusive video with the Arizona Republic, the group's home's owner said the girl just missed her family. These are like key points here. The group home operator, she was confident any investigation into the facility would clear her company. So Emily Pike just wanted to go home. 14 was homesick for friends. She missed her family. It was that simple. Did I think she was running away because she was afraid? No. Was she gone and planning on going for good? No. Who's this person? This must be the person that runs the shelter, you think? It was unknown if Emily made it home or how close she got. On February 14th, more than 2 weeks after she was reported missing, her dismembered remains are found in a pair of heavy-duty trash bags. Yeah, that's sus, right? That's a little suspicious. On a forest road about 25 miles northwest of her family home. Does anybody know where that is? Emily was extremely sweet. Everything Emily had to say came from her smile. This is just a horrible case. This is just wicked sad. Spoke about Emily's time at the group home, the life she was living there, and her past attempts to run away. Looks like she was just looking for affection, right? Does that sound right? Or attention? Morales also addressed reports that 30 children gone missing from the home. They are all accounted for. Lockdowns and child restraints, they aren't used. And rumors about cults are false. Blood sacrifices, ridiculous. Vampirism. Wow. We're not a cult. We're not sucking the blood from children. We're not abusing our children. I've heard it all. So that's good news. She asked the Republic not to publish the name of the company to protect the safety of children. Good call. San Carlos Apache tribal leaders. So they're Apache. Okay. March 24th, publicly named Morales Company. I'm pretty sure they're going to go through this place like a fine-tooth comb here. I always tell my kids, when you step out of these doors, we can't see you and we can't protect you. Emily would have turned 15 in May, but she was growing up hard with a broken family. Behavioral issues that police said required antidepressants. So she was on antidepressants. Does anybody know about this case? Connection, not always affection. Connection, yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say? Affection? Hold on a second here. Trying to keep up with the chat. HTC sucks. I don't even know. Do I know who HTC is? Lauren from Hidden Crime. I don't think I've ever seen her. My sister lives in upstate. I've never been to visit. Oh, she lives all the way in New York State. New York gets a bad rap. I mean, I like the city too, so I love New York City. But New York upstate New York is absolutely gorgeous. Where do we go all the time? We always go to Saratoga Springs to see the concerts. Dirty Diana. I actually like Dr. John Mathias. I keep saying Hoosier Cold Case, but it's Hidden True Crime. They were talking about Dirty Diana was on there talking about who was your cold case this morning, though. Her husband has no business on YouTube. I hope everybody well in chat. Connection, not always affection, exactly. There was a band called Dr. John. Slick Nick. Vallo. Yeah, she's back in the news again too. All right, so let's go back to this. Sorry, just trying to keep up with the chat. You guys are all awesome, by the way. Really appreciate everybody. Listen, LJ. Eljo is in here. I'm assuming that's Lisa Joe. Hi, Lisa Joe. How are you? Good to see you. Always good to see you in here. Always everybody in here. Where the hell is Dino? I wonder if his phone's dead. Yeah, Laurie Daybell's in the news again. It's always good to see Lisa Joe here. Eventually, I'm going to get to her case too. It's just there's so many things going on. There's so much shit going on. It's just amazing. I was going to try to get out to Derry, New Hampshire tonight, but I'm not driving out there in this shit. That's for sure. So I'm going to have to try to schedule that for this week at some point because I do want to get out and go to where they found upstate a couple of weeks ago, tortured them too, Sam. Yeah, we got that other piece of crap that kidnapped that girl last year, remember? On the that was in Saratoga Springs. All right, so let me go back. Hold on, let me just go back to this here. What the hell am I doing? It's good to see everybody though. It's always a rush. I just feel bad I haven't been able to get into that lately, Lisa Joe. Let me go back here. Whoops. I feel bad that I haven't been following this case a lot either. I've been kind of behind the scenes on this case here, but I should have spent more time in this case, that's for sure.
Terrific discovery.
Let me go back over the timeline here. Hold on a second. Where did that start here?
We got a call from some passerbys, and that's what got us out there.
Partial human remains were found by hikers off the US 60, just northeast of Globe, not far from
US 60, right? North of Globe. Hold on a second. Let me see if I could find that.
the tribal community where Emily used to live. Nearly 2 weeks later, on February 27th, the Gila County Sheriff's Office identified the victim as Emily and notified her family.
We want justice and we're not going to be quiet until we get it.
March has been a month of public outcry, demonstrations at the Arizona State Capitol, memorials across the state and the country, and this mural on a San Carlos water tower.
This mural wasn't just a painting, it was a part like medicine. And the people there, they needed that.
Then on March 24th, San Carlos Apache tribal leaders issued a resolution urging Arizona state leaders to investigate the circumstances tied to why Emily ran away and to strengthen the safety and security of group homes. The face of this forever 14-year-old bringing attention to the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people and the shortcomings of congregate care for foster kids.
We need a closer eye on anything that affects the children of Arizona. We need to protect these kids.
We reached out repeatedly to the group home for comments, but have not received a response. As of today, the Gila County Sheriff's Office says there are no.
So let me see. Let's just cover this quick here. I know who Hebby is now too. Hope I'm saying that right. So this is US 60 here, I believe. This is a huge road. This is must be an interstate here. Or a route. This looks like a route. So she was found in here somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Maybe they said Grove. Do you think they said Grove? Let me go back to this here. No, I don't think they have any suspects in this case here yet.
No suspects in Emily's murder. They continue to follow up on tips with the help of the FBI and tribal police. There is a $75,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. I'm senior investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.
So I did want to do the other one here. Let's do this one first, and then we'll go to the law and crime thing here.
New tonight, we're learning more about the case of Emily.
So this was done. The gruesome unaliving of 14-year-old Emily. It just sucks. 14-year-old, it's awful. Started a missing person case. So this was, like I said, this was done 8 days ago.
Pike, a 14-year-old girl who was murdered after going missing last month.
Authorities are still searching for the suspect who dismembered the Apache teen who was living in a Mesa group home at the time. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum has been looking into this case. New details coming out from her missing persons report.
We've obtained a 12-page police report from Mesa PD. This missing persons case is closed now due to the ongoing homicide investigation, but we do get a glimpse into Emily's past and the timeline leading up to the tragic discovery of her remains.
Just continuous. Every time I think I'm done or have a diagnosis, then they do something else. But yeah, just a few more days. So you're going to have surgery again? Am I following? It's JC Anton here. You had a live tonight too, right? Or no? I just saw a notification of a live view, and I think I hit the notification button. I've been busy. The past couple of weeks, I've been fairly busy. So I haven't been able to do a lot of stuff that I normally try to do. I mean, it's not an excuse, but JCN's got a great channel too. Go check her out. Well, don't go check her out. Just go check out her channel. She's amazing. She's got amazing stuff. It's always good to see JCN in here. Thank you. There's Southern Girl right on the ball here with all her all these awesome channels. Great channels. Next appointment, I should know everything about my health. Well, you better tell us. Unless, of course, you don't want to, then I don't blame you.
On January 27th, near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road, a group manager reported 14-year-old Emily Pike missing to Mesa police. According to the report, she said Emily snuck out of her bedroom window and that this wasn't the first time she ran away. The manager said the last time Emily left the house, she was found near Fitch Park. Staff checked the Rock Teen Center a couple days later, where Emily had visited before, but no one had seen or heard from her. By February 19th, a Mesa officer says he spoke to an agent with the Bureau of Indian Affairs who believed Emily had.
Upon arrival, contact Agent Summers from the Bureau of Indian Affairs Homicide Unit. So they have their own homicide unit? Did he say, what was the name of Fitch Park?
The Bureau of Indian Affairs, who believed Emily had been located within the Gila County Indian Reservation after human remains had been discovered on Valentine's Day, just off Highway 60 North at milepost 277. This area is around 100 miles away from where the San Carlos Apache teen was last seen alive. 2 weeks later, she was positively identified and a murder investigation ensued. Tribal communities and family have since united in their grief, calling for justice.
Emily was a spark, and she definitely sparked the entire world, and the world is on fire because of Emily.
Mesa PD's missing persons report on Emily also reveals the teen's history of behavioral and mental health concerns. Emily took medication for those issues and had a case manager from the San Carlos Apache tribe. Just days before her remains were found, an anonymous tip based on a Facebook post said Emily was with her mother on the reservation. That later proved to be untrue, as her mom said she had not heard from Emily, according to police. GCSO is leading the investigation and has created a task force that includes the FBI to help find Emily's killer. If you have any information on the case, we have the link to the tip line on fox10phoenix.com. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.
All right, so hold on a second. I want to find, I'll play this one here. That'll give me a chance. I think I found it. not to mean me, why wasn't she back with it? No, I know that. Yeah, exactly. I think she was having, like Dandy said in here, maybe some connection issues. I don't know. Why do they have to bring up her behavior? I agree. It's just, I think it's always good to know the victimology though, with stuff like this. Now they gotta be firm. Yep. What was I just doing? I'm doing this now. So I'll play this and I'm going to try to find that mile marker. Nope, right here. Okay. So I'll rewind this. This was done. I probably won't listen to all of this here because it's 25 minutes and I do want to move on to something else. But this is Law and Order's take on this here. Hikers. So hikers found her person and her parts in trash bags, which is just absolutely just despicable. I mean, why would somebody do that to another human being, right? 3 weeks after 14-year-old Emily Pike was reported missing in Arizona, her body was found and dumped in trash bags near a hiking trail. See, I can't get a straight answer here of where she was found, so I can try to group where Pike had been living. Now members of the local Native American reservation are calling for an investigation. So they want to go into this group home here that she was staying. I don't think they're going to find anything there, but there might be somebody associated with that.
Away from her home. Now there are calls for investigation into the group home she was a part of, as the teenager's case becomes a rallying cry for advocates for missing and murdered Indigenous women. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. 14-year-old Emily Pike, a member of the San.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a serious effort to try to cover more of these cases than I have been, because I've literally been dropping the ball on some of these Indigenous, and so I need to get back on the ball here and start covering more of these cases. But I agree, they need more attention for sure. Yeah, what kid wouldn't have behavioral issues in that situation? Yep.
San Carlos Apache tribe in Arizona was reported missing at the end of January, have apparently walked away from her group home.
So she was 14, female, Native American, brown, 4'10", 115 pounds. She was last seen wearing a pink and gray shirt. So she was last seen on January 27, 2025. This has been a tough year so far, man. In the area of Mesa Drive and McKellips Road, so this is where she was last seen 7:45 in the area of Mesa Drive and I gotta try to here. Hold on a second. Mesa Drive and okay. So that's where she was last seen. Okay, very good.
Now, law enforcement in Mesa say that Emily
She left the residence on foot.
was a chronic runaway, having been located by police on at least 3 prior occasions after being reported missing from the home, according to police reports.
Is Jocelyn in here? Jocelyn's here? If Jocelyn, hi Jocelyn. Yes, it would. It definitely would. No. Nope, not at all. If Jocelyn is in here and I haven't said hi yet, hi Jocelyn. All right.
On Valentine's Day,
What a cute kid. You know, this is what the stuff that gets to me, man. I just freaking hate this shit. I just and it could be anybody. You have no idea.
3 weeks after she was last seen, the Gillett County Sheriff's Office says it got a call from some hikers who said they found trash bags on or near a trail in a forested area near Globe, Arizona. So this is off US 60 at mile
It did say Globe, Arizona. I thought I was hearing things.
Post 277. And when they looked inside, they believed they saw body parts. The remains were later confirmed to be that of Emily, and they were taken for autopsy. The sheriff's office and Mesa Police Department partnered with the FBI and Bureau of
Thank you, Dandy. Dandy's amazing. Thank you so much, Dandy.
Indian Affairs to launch a homicide investigation. Spokesperson for the sheriff's department said they've also been in contact and in touch with the San Carlos Apache Police Department. Emily's family was reportedly part of this tribe, according to ABC 15. And when Emily's body was discovered, the information was apparently leaked on Facebook before an official identification was made. In fact, the Gillett County Sheriff's Office said in a statement on February 26th, unfortunately, the information on Facebook was intended for only law enforcement agencies.
So the good news is I was able to get right to this here. So we'll only be here for a second. So this is where, this is the intersection here, Mesa Drive, McPhillips Road here. So this is the corner here. So apparently this is where she was last seen. So there's cameras here. This is a pretty populated area here. I wonder if there's any cameras here in the lights. Doesn't look like it. There might be, though. This is a pretty busy intersection, but they might have been able to get some cameras from here. I don't know what that is. That might be that's why I always look for lights here, light cameras, any type of, there's a bank right there. So that's, there might be a camera onto the ATM in there. I mean, this looks like apartments here. So maybe there's, who knows? But if this is where she was last seen, there's another gas station right there. So yeah, there's plenty of, there's plenty of areas where they could probably get some sort of, I don't see any light camera. That might be something there, though. I don't know. That looks almost like a camera mount there. So anyways, let's get back to the other thing. Sorry. Jocelyn is here. Hi, Jocelyn. Good to see you. Jocelyn's got a great channel too. I think Southern Gal's already put it in here. Let's go back here. Unfortunately, information on Facebook was intended for only law enforcement agency and it was leaked. Detectives are currently working in long hours to make a positive identification and find any information and evidence.
And was leaked.
Unbelievable.
GCSO detectives are currently working long hours to make a positive identification and find any information and evidence. And I will say it's particularly chilling because many updates from local agencies have said most of Emily's dismembered remains were found, but further information hasn't been released on that. Now, despite weeks of investigations and multiple candlelight vigils and marches for awareness, this investigation really hasn't revealed many answers. Police told local reporters that they have some leads, but no definitive suspects. They've set up a tip line. They're asking anybody who might have surveillance video showing Emily's movements to please contact them. The tribe is also offering a $75,000 reward.
Got a great channel. Jocelyn's got a great channel too. I'm pretty sure Southern Gal's already put it in here in the chat. Down on the right. Drive on the right. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the road. That's too funny. Always good to have Jocelyn in here, though, for sure. So there's a big reward for this stuff here, 75 grand.
Reward for information that leads to an arrest.
Emily is not the first child to leave Sacred Journey without the group's home's permission. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not a maximum security prison, so these people can just pretty much leave whenever they feel like it. But is that the name, Sacred Journey?
And a conviction. So clearly there's a lot to talk about here. And I want to bring on somebody who actually alerted me to the Emily Pike story. We're here with Justin Shepard from the YouTube channel Just in the Nick of Crime. Thank you so much for taking the time and for bringing awareness to this case. Talk to us how you got involved in reporting and covering this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. So we do a lot with missing people on my channels. And after the Gabby Petito case, I
Always good to see you, Jocelyn. Always good to see you.
became friends with her family, Nikki and Jim Schmidt and Joe and Tara Petito. And this has been something that's been very important to them, is bringing attention to the MMIW community, is missing and murdered Indigenous women, as well as people of color, because what they discovered during their daughter's case was that there's this whole missing.
It's almost like nobody gives a shit. I know there's some people out there that do really good work on the Indigenous, but I'm going to try to start really. I know there's, forget the other, I mean, there's a lot of them out there that are missing. I know the one we covered a few months ago, I think it was in New Mexico. Forget where it was. I forget her name too. She's the one that was at the bar there, Arroyo or something like that. I forgot her name.
White woman syndrome, and they just didn't feel like that was okay. So one of the things that they had done was gotten involved with different people involved in Indigenous communities, including an attorney named Darlene Gomez, and they stay on top of this. So Jim had actually sent me this story, and literally there are very few stories with every.
Hey buddy, it's Dino. Dino's in here. Hey buddy, good to see you. Hope you're good, man. It was good to see you yesterday morning on Dirty Diana's channel. That was awesome. That was great. Evil blocked you again? Yes. Is not necessarily evil here.
Everything that I cover that leave my jaw on the floor, and this one was one of them.
By the way, I got to say this. The content that we cover here on Sidebar proves you got to be careful who you surround yourself with, who you let into your life. Do you really know? Well, that is why we've partnered with TruthFinder. TruthFinder
offender are Indigenous or non-Indigenous, which, by the way, most of the time in these cases, the victims are Indigenous, but the perpetrators, the offenders, aren't. It also depends on where the crime occurred, tribal land versus state.
That's very interesting. I wonder if there's a statistic on that.
Or federal jurisdiction and the type of offense committed. The thing is that the tribal lands don't have a lot of money and resources to do proper investigations. A lot of people who would be police in tribal lands go to, outside police departments because money is better. There really just isn't budget and funding. And so it's very easy to write these off. And because of this, oftentimes you don't have, the FBI getting involved. You don't have local municipalities getting involved. And when they do, they don't really put that much effort towards it. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenges to this. And I think that a lot of people exploit these loopholes. People who commit violence against these women and children exploit these loopholes knowing that.
All right, hold on a second. I do want to show this really quick here because this is, it's 2016, but I think we can get some sort of idea here. So this is, what is this? This is Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Crisis. This is, I forget the name, United States Department of the Interior, Indian Affairs. This is some statistics here. This is a 2016 study by the National Institute of Justice found that more than 4 in 5 American Indian and Alaskan Native American women have experienced violence. So it's 80, almost 85% experienced violence in their lifetime, including 56.1% who have experienced an SA. The year leading up to the study, 39.8% have experienced violence, including 14 points. So it's gone up. Overall, 1.5 million American Indian and Alaskan Native women have experienced the V word in their lifetime. Not good. And I'll go back to this. I want to see non-Hispanic American Indian and Alaskan Native females experienced the second highest rate of homicide in 2020. So this is not good. Non-Hispanic American women, Indian. So American Indians who are not Hispanic and Alaskan Native females experienced the second high. This was in 2020. And the second highest rate of homicide compared with males in all other racial and ethnic groups. Fantastic. 1 in 55-year-olds in the year 2020. So I'm going to try to find some statistics on normal suspect pool. So let me try to do that. And I'll go back to this. Hold on a second. Let me go back. It's not good.
I think that's a very fair assessment. I think that's a very scary conclusion, but that might actually be what's happening here. You know, let's talk about Emily for a second, because I want to talk about this January 27th report to police that Emily was missing. So according to this police report, the manager for a group home that was run by Sacred Journey.
Who got banned from Southern Gal? I don't think I've seen anybody ever. Why would somebody be giving Southern Gal a hard time? He's hiding from Miranda. Okay. Necessarily Evil blocked you, Miranda? Charles is a good guy. I mean, we don't agree on everything, but he was calling people stupid. Put exorcism on your laptop. Oh no. I hope that goes well for you. So who was giving you a hard time on your live? Microwave use, damn it.
Journey and called authorities. And it says, quote, Kathy indicated one of the clients left out of her bedroom window and has not returned. The window screen was pushed out from inside. Kathy stated that she has ran away several times in the past. Kathy did not indicate any exigent circumstance. She was described as a 14-year-old Native female, approximately 4 feet 10 inches, 115 pounds, with medium length.
Did not have a cell phone and was last seen wearing a pink and gray shirt. See, that's something they left out on the other. I didn't know she didn't have a cell phone, so that's even worse.
And brown hair. She does not have a cell phone. She was last seen wearing a pink and gray shirt. Now, the group home manager reportedly gave police information about where Emily had been found after running away before, but that didn't work here. Officers didn't find her. And the reason why Emily was in the group home or how long she lived there is not entirely clear either. Her family wouldn't comment on it when asked by reporters. Now, NBC.
Who was doing that? Southern Gal. To me, it's a badge of honor to be blocked. That's fucking classic. Oh, Charles? Is it Charles that's doing that? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Charles is the guy, you know, I don't mind Charles. It's just, you know, he's one of those guys that, you know, it's you either like him or you don't. I mean, I wouldn't put up with that either, though. Sorry that had to happen to you. Is that the first time anything like that's happened? If you receive an unlimited zip file, open it immediately. All right, go back to this here.
NBC News reports that the tribe's social services department had placed Emily in the home, allegedly because of the San Carlos Youth Home on the San Carlos Reservation that was full. The Sacred Journey Group Home reportedly has 10 beds. Now, Sacred
Journey Group Home, let's check that out. I'll keep playing this. Hold on a second.
Journey is not part of the Arizona Department of Child Safety system. However, DCS has opened a licensing inquiry into this home. A spokesperson for DCS sent ABC 15 a statement in an email that, in part, At this time, the department does not believe any action taken or not taken by the group home caused the terrible outcome in this case. We have opened a licensing inquiry to determine whether appropriate steps were taken by the group home during this incident. And also, according to NBC News, the group home alerts state agencies and law enforcement whenever a resident leaves the group home without permission. And the 2023 missing person reports on Emily indicate when police found her, she told them that she didn't like living at the group home, that she didn't want to go back. Those 3 reports indicate that Emily was found within hours of being reported missing each time and was either returned to the group home or taken to a behavioral health center. Justin, what can you tell us about this?
The unverified reports are that this particular facility has had an issue with runaways. The numbers that I have heard are 30 kids have run away from that home. Most of the time they return. And that was part of the issue with Emily going missing this last time, was that typically she would run away, but then she would always return. And not to go off onto a tangent, but that's another challenge that we have with teenagers is oftentimes when they go missing, they're treated as runaways, and therefore law enforcement might not get involved.
Well, I don't think I can find this on the map because it's technically a home for minors, so I won't be able to find it. So, but I was going to check to see. I mean, I got the corner to see if there's any cameras around there too. It's another one of those pretty populated areas. There's a family medicine place here, a doctor's office. There's, it's just like a regular business road here with businesses and stuff. So there must be some cameras and stuff here. So
quickly, whereas as a 14, 15, 16-year-old, you're still a child. Even if you are a runaway, you're still at that point vulnerable. You're still in danger. Again, that's a different discussion. But yeah, that's my understanding. And I did see the licensing inquiry being opened up. But like I said, my understanding is that this is not the first issue, the first time that they've had issues with other people other than Emily running away from this home due to supposedly issues with staff or the environment. I know that was one of the things that Emily had said in a previous report as to why she would leave. And at the same time, that who wants to be in a group home?
Yeah, don't be messing with Southern Girl. And I don't think she needs us for protection. I'm pretty sure she can take care of herself, but not good. Tutored by Mr. Elvis Fields in Gardiner. It's always good to see Southern Girl in here. Jenny, he's a Canadian, can't commingle. See, I'm not the only one making fun of Canadians. And I'm like 65% Canadian, so.
It's fair. Yeah. And look, I will tell you, ABC 15.
In Canada, it's not 1, 2, 3, it's 1, 2, 3.
They got to look.
Whoops.
At some of those missing person reports, and it provides more details about what Emily, alleged was happening at the home. There was a report from September 11th, 2023, states that Emily had run away with another teen. And when officers found them, they reportedly told them they did not want to go back to the group home because they make them work by scrubbing walls, baseboards, window seals, even getting on their hands and knees to scrub the grout on the tile. Emily reportedly ran away again less than 2 weeks later, told an officer she didn't want to return because it makes her uncomfortable when the staff gets into arguments with other juveniles in the home. According to a press release from the San Carlos Apache Tribe Council to Arizona legislatures, unfortunately, Emily is not the first child to leave Sacred Journey without the group home's permission. The Mesa Police Department reports that about 30 children have run away from Sacred Journey over the past 3 years. You hope it's not a case like this, just that requires some sort of change, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we definitely need to have some kind of.
Montreal's like my probably like third favorite city in the world. I love Montreal. I haven't been there for forever, but if you want entertainment, Montreal is the place to go. And the good news about Montreal that I found, you think you found it on a map? Sacred Journey Group Home. I know I found the dentist office. What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. 2 stars on Google. Yes, them. Do you see any cameras around there? Or? That's what I always look for. I always look for cameras because the police probably have more than we think they do. That group home is suspect. Yeah, suspect. Yeah, somebody in there could be suspect too, like a custodial worker or something. You always question things like that. But you would think that they would have some sort of a, history of that. Yeah, no, I love Montreal. Montreal's very clean too. Trouble is, you get outside of Montreal, and that's when you find the only bins. And I've been to Mont Blanc. It's they hate Americans. Literally, if you're American, they just can't stand you. Who did I saw Inca's son up there in Mont Blanc. This was a long time ago. I had long hair then. Bar hopping in Montreal is great. Yes. Montreal is heaven. They got a great hockey team too. Well, they don't have a great hockey team now, but they usually do. 2 stars are better than no stars, but not good. All right, let's get back to this. Then we'll go. I'm going to move on to the piece of shit down there in South Carolina.
Change with this. And going a little bit more into that, I feel like when you're in a facility like this, if you're being placed in a group home, there is a reason for it, whether there's family issues or.
Not to mention this afternoon, I got up and I just felt like death. I mean, I feel a little bit better now, but oh my God, the Leafs aren't even close to the Habs. The Habs could probably lose forever, and the Leafs probably still won't catch up to them. Gail is here. Hey, Gail, how are you? Good to see you. Just stopped in a minute to say hi. Hi, Gail. I hope you're well. Yeah, my problem was like stumbling upstairs. I had no problem walking downstairs. I was always going upstairs when I was drunk. Gail is here. Gail is awesome. I hope Gail's well. They take hockey seriously in Canada. Like, if you don't play hockey, there's something wrong with you. Like if you want to be a doctor or something in Canada, your father looks at you like you don't want to be a goalie. That's not true. Oh, that's not true. What was it? Ronnie Dangerfield, the joke, Canada started a country and nobody showed up. That was fucking classic.
Or you're a troubled teen or troubled kid. And everything that she's describing, that's not the way to help get these kids to a better spot. Having them, do forced manual labor, having them experience, arguments that could be triggering depending on the home environment that they're coming from. You're really, as a home that's supposed to cater towards troubled kids, troubled teens, you would really think that they would do a better job at trying to make sure that those kids felt, safe and secure during their time there. And I think that's probably, again, another look into a much larger issue, not just here, but probably at a lot of these homes.
And by the way, this council had recommended that the.
Feel bad that you have thunderstorms going on over there. That sucks. We hope you're well, Gail. Gail's amazing. Just hope she's feeling better.
The Arizona legislature enact legislation in Emily's name that will, quote, strengthen safety, security, monitoring, licensing, and operational standards for foster and children groups.
Canada, the roads go on forever. Like, you ever remember the Bugs Bunny roads, Roadrunner roads, where they just keep going and going and going and going? That's Canada. They just, they go on forever, and they're all straight. But it's clean. Like, if you go to Canada, like if you go to Niagara Falls, you go to the Canadian side, it's just, you wouldn't be able to find anything on the ground there. And then you look on the American side and it's all trash. Dentists must be busy in Canada with all that hockey. No, it's because of all that damn beer they drink up there. You ever have Molson Golden? Ugh. It's almost as bad as Australian beer. The investigation should carefully review the safety, security, monitoring license. Yeah. Like I said, they're going to look into this place pretty closely here.
Homes. The tribe is also pushing for the legislature to pass House Bill 2281, which would create an alert system for missing Indigenous people, similar to an Amber Alert. I imagine, Justin, that's something that would be quite necessary.
My grandfather on my mother's side was 100% French, Canadian French, and then I have on my on the other side it's almost all Parisian French. And the funny thing about the Parisian French is they can't really understand anything the Canadians are saying. So I don't know if it's actually really French or not. You can freaking fly up there in Canada. You can go as fast as you freaking want it because it's not like they're going to catch you on the Mounties anyway. No, I love Montreal. Montreal is a fantastic city. All beer is now. You don't like beer, Southern Gal? There's a reason why Australians talk funny. You're kidding, right? How did I know Mino Dino was going to say that?
But talk to us also about, maybe this environment as well, as we're trying to understand what happened to Emily. It seems like it's just
good news about beer. If you don't like it, you can just chug it, right? Or bong it, or Autobahn highway. Good Lord, yeah.
A bunch of different factors that are happening at one
Nova Scotia is nice too. It's just cold.
Time that have led to a really, really disastrous.
I'm already north as I want to go. I'm not going any more north than this. If I go anywhere, it's going to be south. I've seen enough snow, seen enough mountains. I'm as north as we're going to get here.
First result here. Talk to us about what we should be thinking.
People say, why don't you go to Canada? Fuck off. Why would I go to Canada? I'm north. I don't want to go any more north than this.
Thinking about this environment, this area of Arizona, all these.
We want heat. A lot of heat.
These different factors, because it adds to the chilling aspect of this mystery.
Yeah, and let me kind of go a little bit outside. Let's widen that scope a little bit. Let's kind of the things that people might not realize about our Indigenous communities is 4 out of 5. So that's 84.3%. 4 out of 5 Indigenous women have.
Gail's going to sleep. Okay. I hope you feel better, Gail. God, Gail is still not feeling good. That's awful. Got to get some ice to my back. Ugh. You can't even stand the smell of it? Beer? They said, welcome to Regina. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Yeah, Dino's up there. Good night, Gail. Good to see Gail, for sure. I hope you feel better, Gail.
Experienced violence in their lifetime. 51 points. It's estimated that 56.1 to 65% of Indigenous sexual violence. More than 1.5 million Indigenous women have been victims of violence. Violent crime are exceeding the national average. And as of 2020, homicide is one of the leading top 3 causes of death for Indigenous girls and women.
We just read that. Okay, so we're going to go on to something else. I'll keep following this here. I'm pretty sure they know who did this. I mean, I don't think it's going to take long in this case here. Even know. I mean, look at how long Delphi took. All right, so we're going to go on to this clown now. He's in the news again. Autobahn. It's good to see Jenny in here too. I haven't seen Jenny for a while. Jenny's amazing. All right, so this guy here is in the news again. They really want to get this guy here. So Micah Miller's husband linked to friends water unaliving, and this is coming from the lawyer here. So rumors and speculation about South Carolina pastor J.P. Miller swirled since his wife Micah took her own life last year. In the latest twist, there are reports that law enforcement could be opening an investigation into the unaliving of a family friend. Now, this might be a little bit triggering here.
The saga of JP.
This guy right here, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I can't stand this guy. He deserves to be off the streets. He's nothing but a thug.
Miller continues as he now is reportedly linked to the drowning of a man back in 2021. And here's the thing. There are those who still believe that Miller played some kind of role in what ultimately led to Micah's passing. And there are those, some of them, who've expressed this.
Natty Ice, the flaming asshole syndrome. When I drank, it was all about quantity. Quality wasn't really all that. When I really wanted to have a good beer, I'd sit down and have a Beck's, but that was like $4. So you could buy a lot of beer with $4. Visit MMIWG Stolen Spirits, YouTube Stolen Spirits MMI. Thank you, Senegal.
Publicly. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The sun had barely risen over the Market Common neighborhood in South Carolina on September 6, 2021. And that is when Chris Skinner, a quadriplegic Army veteran and motivational speaker, wheeled himself toward the community pool for a morning.
I loved beer. Beer was my thing. Beer and schnapps and tequila.
Chess game. Strapped into his powered wheelchair, Skinner reportedly moved through the gate that was held open by a neighbor with his dog trotting alongside. Surveillance cameras captured the next few minutes, and it was chilling. Apparently.
So if anybody doesn't know about this guy, John Paul Miller here, I think it was last year, his wife, Micah Miller, they were associated with this huge church down in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, basically my stomping ground down there. It turns out that she took her own life down there. But this guy here basically groomed and cultivated her from a very young age. He's just life's living proof that there is scumbag and shit out there. And this guy's one of them.
Chris Skinner was around the edge of the pool and suddenly fell in. He submerged, wasn't able to free himself. 40 minutes later, bystanders spotted what they initially thought was a discarded pool toy, but it wasn't. It was Skinner's lifeless body. The coroner's office at the time ruled his death to be an accident. But now, over 3 years later, the case has been reportedly reopened due to what is being called conflicting accounts surrounding.
I stopped drinking 20 years ago, and I don't miss it at all.
This event. And even more bizarre, and this is according to WBTW, the coroner's report indicated apparently an autopsy wasn't performed, nor were witness statements taken. And Chris's case has some very eerie ties to, of all people, Pastor John Paul.
This guy is such a human baby. If you ever get a chance to listen to something that will just knock you off your feet in laughter, it's this guy crying on the ground. This poor woman here had to get involved with this clown. It just sucks. It's just so sad.
Paul Miller, a man who has been in the headlines a lot this past year after the death of his wife, Micah, also from South Carolina. So why exactly is Micah's husband, John Paul Miller, being dragged into this? Well, according to an affidavit filed by Miller's ex-wife, Allison Williams, Chris Skinner may have actually confronted the pastor 2 weeks prior to his death, demanding that Miller stay away from his wife at the time, Susie. And by the way, if you need a refresher on all this, Pastor John Paul Miller was the controversial leader of South Carolina's Solid Rock Church, and he was married to Micah Miller, who passed away in April of last year in what authorities ruled to be a self-inflicted death. Micah had passed away on April 27th, which appeared to be days after she had served Miller with separation papers. But now, Miller was in a previous marriage before he met Micah, and this was to a woman named Allison Williams. And according to Allison Williams, the two were married for approximately 16 years prior to their divorce in 2016, and Miller went on to marry Micah in 2018. But their marriage was reportedly tumultuous and plagued with allegations of abuse against John Paul Miller, which we've talked about a lot on.
Okay, so I found out yesterday my old friend that sucks. She had the same weight loss surgery I'm about to have. That's what unalived her, so I'm double worried about you. I hope everybody's okay here in the chat. I hated beer, but love the property. So no booze. We'll get Slurpees at 7-Eleven. Yeah, it's all about coffee for me now. It's always been about coffee for me, but yeah, this guy here is he's just, I can't stand him.
Previous episodes of Sidebar.
And he's gonna do it again too, I guarantee it.
And while authorities, to be clear, have officially ruled on Micah's cause of death and have confirmed that he was not connected to her death and was nowhere near her when all of this happened, there are those who still.
You better be. I forbid you to not be okay. He and his chomo daddy. Can't stand this guy. I just
believe that
got a cute little dog though. That's cute.
Miller played some kind of role in what ultimately led to Micah's passing. And there are those, some of them, who have expressed this publicly. But by the way, Miller's already in some hot legal water. This month, 2 women filed lawsuits accusing him of sexual abuse. Miller has denied the allegations, is countersuing one of those women for defamation. And there's also reportedly an FBI investigation into John Paul Miller, although it's unclear what that investigation is or the status of it. But look, with Skinner's drowning under fresh scrutiny, the FBI situation, multiple lawsuits, this saga is still in the news and in the headlines. But now I want to get back to Allison Williams. So she and Miller, they shared children together. They shared joint custody following the divorce. But last year, she filed a motion for the court to grant her sole custody over the children.
So they were out there a few months ago, and they were searching his property again. I think it was the FBI. I don't know what they were searching for. But I think if the FBI is involved, it's probably got something to do with a money trail of some sort.
Children. And this was due to her claims that the marriage between Micah and John Paul was so toxic and bad and allegedly abusive that it was becoming harmful to her children. But then you go back to Chris Skinner, because she also mentioned an alleged affair between John Paul Miller and Susie Skinner that had begun at least in 2021. And according to WBTW, Susie recently confirmed that the two are in a relationship. And even more interestingly, is that Skinner, who again was paralyzed from the neck down tragically after a drunk driver hit his car when he was just 20, he had once been a devoted member of Miller's church. But in the months before his death, he reportedly grew disillusioned and was distancing himself. And this is according to his sister, Tamara McDermott. So now with the claims in Williams' custody filings paired with the investigation being reportedly reopened into the death of Chris Skinner, John Paul Miller may once again find himself under some scrutiny. Now, according to the affidavit from Allison Williams, Miller allegedly had been having an affair with Skinner's wife, Susie, since at least 2021, a relationship facilitated, according to Williams, through their son's shared soccer activities. In her affidavit, Williams says, JP began spending time with his now paramour, Susie, who is the mother of one of the boys that plays on our son's soccer team. JP began using our son to facilitate times he could spend with Susie, which our children were well aware of. When I learned JP was exposing our children to yet another one of his adulterous affairs, I confronted.
So JP began spending time with his now paramour Susie, who was the mother of one of the boys that plays on our son's side. This guy's just a regular Don Juan, right? JP began using our son to facilitate times he could spend with Susie, which our children were well aware of. This is freakish behavior here. The friends talked about it, and it caused them a tremendous amount of embarrassment. When I learned JP was exposing our children to yet another one of his adulterous affairs, this guy's just he's just what do they call it? He's habitual here.
JP and Susie and told them not to let it happen again. Now, Williams was no longer married to Miller at the time, but part of her concern was that this alleged relationship was
Right.
having a negative impact on her children. And I want you to take a look at what she had to say about Chris Skinner's death, because she writes, JP called me the day Susie's husband died in an alleged drowning in accident, extremely upset and asking me to pray, which was incredibly bizarre. By the way, we are doing multiple sidebars a day, so I am so busy. I am always running around, but I'll tell you what, we have this.
Nobody cares.
And then she says, is that there was an alleged confrontation between Miller and Skinner before he died. Quote, based upon information and belief, just 2 weeks prior to this incident, Susie's husband had confronted JP and asked him to leave his wife and children alone. It is chilling to know that the spouses of both Susie and JP are now dead.
I don't think so. No, I think he's he used to be on another channel too. I forget the news guy here. Based upon information and belief, just 2 weeks prior to the incident, Susie's husband had confronted JP and asked him to leave his wife and children. Yeah, no shit, right? It's chilling to know that the spouses of both Susie and JP are now unalived.
From tragic events. So what is not clear is how exactly she was made aware of that, if it is in fact true. It is worth mentioning that in all of this, that according to reporting from the Daily Mail,
Lorenzo Lamas got
actually
involved.
officiated Skinner's funeral at Solid Rock Church. So from the
What was that guy? What was that program he was on? Lorenzo Lamas. Jenny, have you asked about nausea meds with it? I've had 2 band surgeries and had to have them removed, but it's great. Don Wano.
beginning, Skinner's drowning was deemed accidental, but then the official reports contained what appeared to be puzzling discrepancies. According to WBTW,
I mean, they might have been trying to get some computer information from him, maybe some correspondence with the then wife, Susie, maybe to get some connection to this. Who knows?
surveillance footage showed Skinner struggling to lift his head before the motion-activated camera had cut off. No one noticed his body for nearly an hour, and the Horry County Coroner's report, reviewed by the Daily Mail, stated Skinner had, quote, gotten too close to the pool edge, causing his wheelchair to slip in. Yet the police report described a sudden, deliberate movement, stating, quote, Skinner stops at a curve in the
No, Lorenzo Lamas wasn't in Greece, was he? Renegade. That was the one. Renegade. He was on another one too before that, right? Lorenzo Lamas was in Greece. I'll have to Google that.
pool and then suddenly moves quickly forward and goes into the water. Now, Horry County Chief Deputy Coroner Tamara Willard has reportedly reopened the case, citing new evidence regarding.
So this is, where is this coming from? The Daily Mail. So take this with a grain of salt, right? Micah Miller's husband is linked to probe of unaliving of his new girlfriend's husband. 11 months after his wife's suspicious unaliving.
Regarding the manner of death. This is according to the Daily Mail. Okay, so now I want to bring on South Carolina attorney Regina Ward, friend of the show, has represented several of the demonstrators outside of John Paul Miller's church, even represented Micah Miller's family at one point in time, Micah at one point in time. Regina, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this latest development. Before we even begin, my understanding is you have been in contact with Chris's sister, Tamara McDermott, and she has a statement.
Really? Was that him? That was the guy that was... That, you might be right. Is this the wheelchair dude? Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. There was a dude in a wheelchair that drowned alone in a pool, right? Yes. Yep. They had made references to this here right around the time that this happened, but I don't think anything came of it or nothing. But like I said, the FBI was out there a few months ago searching his home again. And who knows what they were looking for? I don't think we have any information of what they were looking for, but it could be related to this. Who knows?
At least partially of a statement that you might be able to share with us. Is that correct?
All I know is I hope this guy messes with the wrong person one of these days, when he does stuff like this and just gets, what he's asking for.
Yes, that's correct. Tamara McDermott is Chris Skinner's sister, and she had sent me a statement that she would like read. Now, there's a lot of it here. I'm just going to read a part of it that I think is really important to the family. And it just says, when Chris passed away on September the 6th of 2021, his death was initially ruled an accident by the coroner. And at the time, my parents and I accepted this explanation provided by Chris's former spouse. And of course, that would be Susie Skinner. However, upon reflection, we realized that neither the police nor Chris's former spouse notified us directly about Chris's passing. Instead, about an hour after Chris was transported to the hospital, we were informed by a neighbor who had been instructed to contact us. So in December of 2024, after reviewing police reports and the coroner's report, then discrepancies became apparent. In December 2024, also upon examining dash cam footage, they learned for the first time that the pastor of Solid Rock Church had been present at the scene. And she also goes on to say that Micah Francis' passing drew renewed attention to Chris's passing due to the association between those spouses.
So let me amplify this a little bit. Can you confirm that this investigation into Chris's death is officially reopened, and do you know why?
Yeah, a couple of reasons. First of all, there are discrepancies. Some of these things I can't discuss for obvious reasons, but primarily there are, renewed things with regard to additional witnesses that have came forward with statements that would have been relevant at the time of the investigation. As I mentioned in her statement, the dash cam footage also brought to light some things. There is, the discrepancies between the two reports, and also the fact that there wasn't an autopsy done or further investigation. That's something that needed to be looked into definitely further.
Do we have any idea about a timetable when we might get more information from authorities about this?
Yeah, I always wish I could predict those things, but they have certain things that they're looking at, and they're going to take their time and figure out, what's relevant, what's pertinent to the case, and go from there. So I don't have a particular timeline.
You mentioned about John Paul Miller being at the scene. You mean being at the scene of Chris's death?
Yes, that was afterwards that he was actually caught. I'm not sure how he learned of it. I would, presume that maybe Ms. Skinner notified him, but both John Paul Miller and Micah showed up there at where the swimming pool was to offer appeared to be, comfort to Miss Skinner. The bizarre thing about that is at the time it appeared that Mr. Miller was having an affair with Miss Skinner, and that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, this whole case is suspect in my opinion, but I think they're looking into it for sure. I think they're getting pressure from, not just local people here with this guy here, but this guy's left a trail of disaster behind him, and now I think everything's starting to catch up to him. That's my opinion.
Our behavior.
You one of the interesting things, and I mentioned this before you came on, and you mentioned it too, the apparent lack of an autopsy, the apparent lack of questioning witnesses. Do we have an explanation about why that was the case?
I don't know. I can't speak for certain why that would be the case, but there's some evidence that's come to light that maybe there was what I would refer to as sort of impeding an investigation. There was pertinent, relevant information that needed to be provided.
Yeah, this was, I believe this was the first wife, I think. Like I said, I remember them talking a little bit about this, especially the family was coming out. Her family was coming out and talking about stuff like this here, but I've been following this case pretty religiously, so I think they're they really want to something on this guy as soon as possible. I don't blame them.
To the police that was not. And had it been, I think they would have approached it differently. But it would be interesting to know if there were any, as far as medications or things that may have been in his system that may have affected him. Looking closer at the footage, definitely interviewing and not just taking it on the.
I also think that it's possible. Now I don't know if there's an actual law against this, but I've always said I wonder if he was messing with Micah's medicines to make her. Because I think there's some things you can do with certain medications to make people feel more to want to harm themselves. So he might have been trying to do that. Because if he had control of her medications, it's possible, I think.
Surface, because there was more there that could have been looked at that could have changed the outcome of what the cause of death was.
Do you have any more context about what actually was said potentially between Chris and John Paul Miller in that conversation? Apparently just 2 weeks before Chris died. Do we know what was actually said between the two?
What I understand, there's not a third party that actually witnessed that. I don't know of that at the moment. If there is someone out there like that has that information, definitely needs to come forward. But the conversation was relayed to other family members.
Yeah, that's bad, right? That's definitely bad. The woman was also having an affair, who was also stalking Micah. Yeah. Okay, a couple more minutes of this, and I want to move on to the Connecticut case here.
Members and other people. So, from Chris' perspective, Mr. Skinner's perspective, that conversation happened.
By the way, going back to Chris's sister, Tamara McDermott, are you? If you can tell us.
Well, I do have this. Hold on, I want to do this for a second here. Since I've been threatening to do this for forever here. Hold on a second. Why was he making her take tests? Because he's a piece of shit. He's they say the testosterone messed with her singing voice. Yep. Yeah, I think it's possible he was I don't know, maybe either slipping her shit or doing stuff with her medication to make her even more stressed. Let's do this. Ready? Let's
Certainly. Certainly.
I found buttons. Hold on a second. Right here.
I bet you tell that to all the boys. I mean,
we'll incorporate that with the chat at some point. Okay, let's go back to the important stuff. Right here.
Are you representing her? I mean, how did you get in contact with her and the family?
Oh, yes. So
Either way, this guy is just this is just my opinion now. I don't really know a lot, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate. He's just an absolute piece of dog shit. Just you want to stay away from people like this because they will ruin your life. Period.
I knew Miss McDermott before, and she's actually she has been court appointed, and so she's known in our family court system to offer therapeutic services for children or people going through divorce or trauma.
I literally love the Three Stooges. So hold on. Very good. I found this, I wanted to do this for so long, but I'm using it, and before I download this shit, I'm just using it. What are you taking a bath for? Hold on. Right here.
what kind of a fool do you take me for? Why, is there more than one kind? What kind of a fool?
Would you be my boyfriend? Ooh. Oh no, this is not going to be good. All right. All right, so let's go. We're going to go to the, hold on a second. Yeah, it's a website. I'm in a weird mood, like it's. All right, so I want to go to this Connecticut case here. They have like this whole thing on YouTube now. They do like Mystery Science Theater. They do like a whole couple of days. They're all of the movies that they used to show on Mystery Science Theater. And then it's a link, yeah. And then they've been having a lot of the Three Stooges on there. Yes. If it's the Three Stooges, I'm all there. I'm very easily amused by that, for sure. All right, so we're going back. This lady was finally here in court. We covered this a couple weeks ago. The Connecticut woman accused of, she basically held her stepson captive for 20 years. The jury's still out on this. I don't know what's going on with this, but he literally left school and he wasn't seen since. And he was just basically held captive in his room, like no bigger than a jail cell, with double locks on doors, allegedly. And this is her. She's finally appearing in court. So he basically lit his room on fire so that he could get out. So this is her appearing in court here, Kimberly Sullivan.
Before we begin, any objections to the media? No, Your Honor, not from the state. Madam Kimberly Sullivan, 2 on the Part A regular docket.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ioannis Kaloidis on behalf of Ms. Sullivan. She is present and approaching.
The state's filed a motion to modify the defendant's conditions of release. We are in receipt of the motions from the defendant in response. I would like to point out for the record that Connecticut Practice Book Section 3813, 3814, and Connecticut General Statutes 5469 and 5469B, and the relevant case law from those statutes.
I just don't understand how nobody intervened. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, the father died last year, right? So don't you think somebody would have been able to go over there and check on this kid, this guy? I mean, 20 years. I mean, nobody goes over and checks. It doesn't make, to me, this doesn't make any sense to me, but I mean, it's possible. This cop right here is looking to shoot somebody. Watch her. She's like this RoboCop here. Anybody gets out of line here in this courtroom, she's ready to use this.
This court the authority to modify conditions of release at any
She's like, you over there, stop moving, or I'm gonna unload on you. Watch her.
time. I disagree with the defense. There has to be a change in circumstance.
Fuck around.
And the court always has authority. The state is renewing its request for EMS monitoring house arrest in the alternate GPS monitoring. State's also requesting that the defendant, if she has a passport, it be surrendered. The state still submits to the court this defendant is a substantial risk.
It is. Like I said, I don't know how this shit happens, right? I just don't. There's another case where they need to make, yes. You're welcome, Senegal. What was I saying? Yeah, if you literally have to lit your own room on fire to escape from the clutches of an absolute wicked witch of the West, right? Like it's, you can't make this stuff up. But what I'm saying is I cannot understand how stuff like this, it's 2025, right? You would think that these days here, somebody would have at least gone by, knocked on the door, said, hi, what's going on? How's my brother? Whatever. Nobody.
Risk of flight. She faces the rest of her life or a significant period of the rest of her life incarcerated if she's convicted of these charges. That makes it a significant.
And I would not be shocked if this woman gets away scot-free. I don't know what they're going to charge her with, if it's even going to be, jailable and a jailable offense. I don't know what they're going to charge her with.
incentive to flee this jurisdiction and to not appear in court. If it's coming to court, face the charges, and if she's convicted, face the rest of your life in jail or flee, I think it's a pretty simple alternative and equation.
They're going to put her in jail for the rest of her life. Right?
Would permit her to flee. This is a strong case for the state. The court has read the arrest warrant. But in addition to that strength, since the media coverage of this case, several additional witnesses have come forward. For example, a friend of the defendants of 21 years has come forward and provided a written statement to the state, to the police, that in the 21 years she's known this defendant, she's never spoken of a stepson. She was shocked to learn she had a stepson, and that friend was never allowed in this house. Additionally, I'd like to point out to the court, it's a domestic violence case. The domestic violence victim. The GPS monitoring or EMS house arrest is often imposed for far less serious crimes in domestic violence matters and other matters. Since the arraignment, the state has had an opportunity to meet with this victim. This victim is afraid. This victim lives in fear. I introduced myself to the victim, explained who I was. His first question in this fear is, why is she out walking around when I was locked up in a room for 20 years? He is following this on TV and social media, so he is aware of what's happening. And I say that because it would lead to his.
I found the house a couple of weeks ago, but I went looking for the house last week actually, and I couldn't find it. They must have blurred it out. So, I mean, it's in a well-to-do neighborhood too. I mean, Waterbury, Connecticut isn't the greatest place in the world, but it's not the worst either. I mean, that's a pretty good part of town too. It's just the strange thing is people were waving to him in the window, right? Friends, the people would walk by and wave to him in the window. He just never left the house. He just never. I don't know how that goes unnoticed. 20 years. But I guess people mind their own business these days. Yes, that's exactly what I just said. I know guys, I still think about that, so I kind of get how no one checked on him. People just mind their own business. But he had a half sister and a mother. He weighed 68 pounds. He was a grown man, 32, I think, and he weighed 68 pounds. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen in just 1 year. So I'm assuming the father, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but I'm assuming the father had something to do with this too, because this has been going on for 19 years. And just the last year, he's been alone with her. So, and to be honest with you, she was more worried about her cats than she was him. I can play the video if you want, but it seems like she was more worried. She had the dog in her hand.
Based on all that, the state is asking for those conditions.
Your Honor, I respectfully and vigorously object to the state's motion. I believe it is improper, and I believe if it was to be granted, it would be unjust and a violation of my client's state and federal constitutional rights. This is the third time we are back addressing the same issues. Bond has been set. Conditions of release have been addressed by the court. The state made essentially the same arguments on prior occasions, which were considered by the court and rejected by the court. We are back now, 2 weeks later, giving the state another bite at the apple. And the court was clear on March 13th, when the court rejected the conditions that are being sought. The judge at the time made clear she was rejecting those conditions and made clear that we would keep this on a short leash, basically, come back in 2 weeks or whatever. And if there were any violations, she would reconsider. A defendant must be able to rely on the representations and the orders of the
That's how they found that kid a few years back. The hand signal. She was taken. It might have been just a year ago. I forget. But if she was taken by somebody in Texas, and he drove her all the way to, I think it was California, and she used a hand signal or something outside of a laundromat to alert some people who were, I forget the name, and it might have been, I forget how many years ago that was, but they found her in a laundromat. She used some hand signals to alert some people who didn't even know her, and that's how they caught him. But they do have that, yes, and it's something you should teach your kids for sure. This hand signal stuff. But I don't know. I think this kid here, he was 32 years old. He's not a kid anymore. He's I would have just jumped out the freaking window.
The court. And when a defendant is told, you will be released under these conditions, and if you abide by these conditions, you'll be fine. The only thing that has changed is now we have a 2-week track record of compliance. That is the only change that I have seen. That is the only documentation that has been provided to me, or that I've been able to see so far, is a report from bail indicating a track record of compliance. So the only thing that has changed in the eyes of the defense with respect to the case is that my client has been complying with the conditions and has done what has been asked of her. Despite the fact that she's complied with the conditions,
I don't even know if she's the legal guardian, right? How does that even work? I don't know, because technically the mom, from what I know, the biological mom gave custody over to the father. So the father has custody of the child. I don't know if these two are married. Are they married? Would that make her responsible for, I mean, he's 32. I don't know. This is going to be a strange case.
We're now back seeking to add additional conditions.
Yeah.
And I understand that the whole world wants to convict Ms. Sullivan, and the whole world already has. But this is the only place, the only room in this country where we have an opportunity to protect her rights. And as unpopular as that may seem, that's what's at issue here. Her rights, no one else's. When we talk about the constitutional rights in criminal law, they're to protect the accused, regardless of how unpopular it may be. So, Your Honor, I think it would be, respectfully, Your Honor, I think it would be a mistake.
It's good to see everybody in here. Dirty Diana, it's always good to see you in here. Jocelyn's awesome. Jenny, of course. Tracy Fleetwood. Let me know if you want to reach. Of course, Southern Gal's in here somewhere. She's probably sleeping. No, there she is. Wouldn't she have to go to court and be granted the guardianship? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can't just, you can't just switch over. And plus, he's 32. I mean, he doesn't have to be, he's not a child anymore, so he doesn't need supervision. He can, this is going to be a really strange case. I could see guardianship if he was a like he was, he couldn't move and stuff like that. And he was on some sort of a, what do they call a disability or something like that. But these guys are grown adult here. Not yet, but I did have to take a Benadryl earlier. Oh, for your allergies? Allergies is going to be bad this year here. The weather's been not cooperating again, for sure.
To add conditions at this time. And I filed a supplemental memorandum. And although it's my supplemental memorandum.
I mean, I'm not making excuses for him. Just saying, I don't understand. What are they going to charge her for? Can they prove that she locked him in the room? I don't know. It's just such a weird freaking case.
I think to some extent, it is the strongest argument and one the court should be the most concerned about. And that is protecting my client's right to a fair trial. She is presumed innocent. Maybe not to the rest of the world, but this is the one place where that presumption should remain. And by adding conditions The court is sending a message that she has done something wrong.
Do you think that when you take Benadryl, it actually helps, or do you think it just kind of kicks the can down the road? I used to swear by Benadryl, but now I'm not sure. I know it's good for allergies and good for putting people to sleep, but I wonder if it's just like it acts like a Band-Aid.
Or the court feels that she has done something wrong, or the court feels that something has changed to increase the conditions of release, increase her monitoring, when none of that has occurred. So by granting the state's motion, a message is sent to the world that the presumption of innocence.
All I'm saying is I think a lot of this stuff that happened to this guy happened long before she ended up actually taking over the house there, right? So what would you take it for? Benadryl? I don't think I've ever taken Benadryl, but I know my son, it worked really good for my son. I took a lot of NyQuil. I know that. I don't do that anymore since I went cuckoo. I have my Zoloft now, and I have my melatonin, and that's all I really need. It helps the symptoms not to. Okay, yeah. I have been. It gives me sleep, hangover, groggy. Yeah, me too. Take Allegra and Flonase daily for allergies. Yep. There's really not a lot you can do about allergies, though. They're just. I think that's where migraines come from too, to be honest with you.
Means nothing, and that cannot happen, Your Honor. And the presumption of innocence is.
I got a pretty good migraine the other night. Most of the time I get migraines, I don't do very, very minimal, but the other night one was pretty good. And I think it's because the weather around here has been going up and down. It's getting warm, cold. You got all these fronts that come through, and that can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure the barometric pressure right now is all over the place.
It's tied to bail. The Troconis case, which cites a U.S. Supreme Court case, which talks about the importance.
Hopefully, I'm gonna start doing a lot more of these, on the spot location stuff, and I'm probably gonna take you guys with me on a couple of storm related chasing this year here if we can get a good. Yeah, baseball will do it. Baseball will knock you right the hell out, especially like a National League game. Yeah, baseball is good if you want to go to sleep for sure, especially with the plane flying by, and I mean, baseball is a pretty boring sport. You feel way under medicated. Yep, it could be.
And how the presumption of innocence ties into bail. The whole world is watching. And if we add additional conviction conditions now, we are sending a message that she has done something wrong, or that the court believes she has done something wrong. I, as her attorney, stand by her. She is presumed innocent, as unpopular as that may be. Now, getting back to my original arguments in this, Your Honor, the court on Wednesday referenced the Ayala case. And I looked at the Ayala case, and this is distinguishable.
Oh, that Ayala case? I wonder if I can find that. Hold on a second.
Yes, the court has the inherent authority to set conditions and modify conditions. Just because the court has the authority doesn't mean that it should exercise that authority. And I'd ask the court not to exercise that authority. In Ayala and in all the other cases where there's been a review of a court adding conditions or revoking bond or impacting bail, there has always been something to trigger it. Some violation of condition of release, some concern that the defendant will not be able to appear in court or is a danger to anyone else. She has appeared in court despite the difficulty in getting here. There are serious safety concerns for her. putting her in a specific area where she cannot leave will only create additional safety.
Oh my God, you poor thing. My top sports are football, baseball, basketball, and Olympics. Sometimes hockey. Yeah, definitely football for me. Football, I'll switch baseball and basketball around on you. I just can't watch baseball anymore. It's just and then I'll probably put basketball before hockey, but the playoff hockey is awesome. So I don't know. You spent the evening in the ER on Wednesday. I didn't feel good, and it was my gallbladder acting up. I needed a HIDA scan, and then I'll find out if it needs to be taken out. Oh, that sucks. Before my sister-in-law passed away, she had to take. I'm not even going to say that, and she hated it. I didn't know your sister-in-law passed away. Orange burps. My doctor told me to help with gallbladder take lemonade. Is sex a sport? Not in my house. It's fun having baseball in the background when I'm online. Yeah, I mean anything that works. I just love. I love college hockey. I love playoff hockey. I just can't watch regular season hockey. I don't know why. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, we used to have to eat years ago. We used to have to drink cod liver oil every night before we went to bed, and then we passed on that to prune juice. Prune juice became the more popular thing to do. Cod liver oil was just absolutely awful. Oh my God. Oh.
Safety concerns. There are numerous threats against her. Numerous people have made threats. They're posting them online, talking about not waiting to be able to see her out in public. She needs to be able to have freedom of movement. And
yeah, don't get old. It doesn't work. You've been on it forever now.
At times, in fact, Your Honor, I've actually advised her to leave the state initially.
So my neighbor's dog got hit last week, and it's just absolutely horrible. That sweet, wonderful dog next door, Brooklyn. We just, we kind of live in a duplex here where we have we have them on that side, and we have us on our side. We have our two dogs, and they had Brooklyn, who's a basically a full bred Rottweiler. And she used to run all over the place, no leash. Dog wasn't on leash or nothing. So, as she grew older, she'd go running after the cars. She'd run after my car. And we just knew it was a matter of time. And we, can't say anything. They're our neighbors, it's like, because there's a leash law here in New Hampshire, but there isn't a leash law in New Hampshire, if you know what I mean. So sure enough, the other night, last week, I was outside letting Seljuk out. And I feel bad because Seljuk and Brooklyn were like boyfriend and girlfriend. Like they bonded really well. They had a litter together. And they were like best friends. So I let my dog out, and Brooklyn came over, and then I saw the truck pulling down the road, and there goes Brooklyn, and it just sucks. So we had to deal with that dead dog thing last week. It was just awful. My daughter's completely destroyed. And I feel bad for Seljuk because I know he saw it happen. So anyways.
Given the media attention for her own safety. If the court was to put her on a GPS monitoring bracelet, she would not be able to do that. If the court put her on an EMS, she would not be able to leave the residence where she is. That would create additional safety concerns.
You can tell Seljak's a little, like, dog's a little, beside himself. It just stinks.
Getting back to the law here, though, Your Honor, I think the Ayala case is clear that there needs to be, I think it calls for some type of violation. Whether you call it a change of circumstance or not, that's something that has been used, an argument that has always been raised in our state courts here, and I believe it is an appropriate consideration.
Fucking
Your
blows
Honor.
the souls. Fuck.
Your Honor, my motion also details her ties to the community, all the things that the court's already considered in setting the appropriate.
Yeah, I'm not a big dog guy either, but I got my dog here, so he's an idiot. But he got along with her. That's good news. You know, they were like best. Every time the dog would just show up at the window here, and Celtic would just want to go out and just run around together. Not going to happen anymore. She's dead. All right, so I'm going to keep an eye on this here. I just wanted to go over this. She wants bail. She wants to get out and run around, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't know what they're going to charge her for. There's going to be an interesting case here. All right, so we're going to go to the Derry, New Hampshire case here, and I'm going to go down there. Like I said, I was going to go down there tonight, but the weather is just not. I don't feel like driving all down there tonight. So we covered this briefly last week here. The remains were found. She's been missing forever. I'll pull up some information on her. But they found remains outside the golf course in Derry, New Hampshire. And I'll go down there and give people an idea of where that is. Basically my old stomping ground there. So the remains found in New Hampshire last week have been positively identified as missing mother, who was last seen 5 years ago. She went missing from, believe, her house here in Derry. And I'll pull the map up for you and go over this case here. So I believe they found her with a drone.
Following breaking news, investigators in New Hampshire confirmed that remains found in Derry last week are of a 23-year-old woman who disappeared 5 years ago. Boston 25 News reporter Bob Ward has been following this case. He joins us live from New Hampshire. Bob, this is an emotional day for her family.
You know, it really is a day of mixed emotion for Amanda's family. Today ends.
This guy's awesome here. This is one of my guys here. I've been communicating with him a lot in the last couple of weeks here. But this is, if you look behind him, this is 28 here. This is, if you go this way here, you go to Derry. And if you go left here, you're going to go to Londonderry. This is like the main road, and the 93 is off here. This is kind of like a park and ride here. But I'll go down there and get where she was found here. So hold on a second here. Right here. Okay, so this is kind of like the right up here. Human remains found in New Hampshire golf course identified as woman missing since 2020. Remains found in the Hampshire golf course have been positively identified of those who went missing 5 years ago. They found the body, I think it was last week, a couple weeks ago, and it didn't take too long to identify her. So I'm assuming that there was some sort of something on the body that was able to be identified. The woman, Amanda Grozowski, was reported missing March 17, 2020, so in the spring, basically 5 years ago. Out of Derry, New Hampshire, about 13 miles southeast of Manchester, New Hampshire, Attorney General formally announced in a press conference. Human remains were found near Hoodcroft Country Club golf course on Thursday, just over 5 years after she went missing. They haven't said the cause of death yet, I don't think. The official medical examiner confirmed that the remains belonging to her, the office and Derry Police Department are still looking into the cause and manner of unaliving. So it might not be nefarious. It might just be, who knows? She was 23 years old and had one child when she went missing. At the time, she didn't have a car. Her reported television station WCVB. She also struggled with substance abuse and spent time in Nashua, Salem, Manchester, and Hooksett before disappearing. It's all in the same kind of vicinity. Grzelski's aunt, Joanne O'Connor, told television station Fox Television that her niece was staying overnight in an apartment when she went missing on March 17, 2020. She left everything in her house, in the apartment too. I'll probably drive by that apartment too. So, on Facebook, a post was made yesterday by a woman claiming to be the grandmother. The moving tribute to Griswold reads at the end, "You will never be forgotten. You will never be." So that's the write-up on her. There's her face there. So we'll just wait. I guess we got to wait until she gets some sort of a cause of death here, but I don't think it's going to take too long. That's just my opinion. So we'll go play the rest of this here, right here.
5 years of searching for Amanda Grzelski, and now the family is preparing to bring her home.
Obviously, I'm very emotional, but yet it does give some closure.
For the first time in 5 years, Jessica Grzelski's daughter, Amanda Grzelski, is no longer a missing person. Tuesday morning, Derry, New Hampshire police came to Jessica's apartment, telling her that the human remains found last week in a Derry marsh are positively identified.
I think she was found in the water, so I don't know how that was with composition. It could go either way. But I mean, you're talking 5 years, so she might have had tattoos on her that were able. I mean, I have no idea, so I don't know what. I'm very familiar with Derry, New Hampshire, so I can pretty much get to the golf course pretty quickly, and then the apartment buildings I can pretty much find. So, just a sad thing for her.
As Amanda.
Did you think this day might never come?
I did. Where it was on to 5 years, I sometimes wondered, am I going to be still alive and know what happened to my daughter?
Amanda Grzelski was last seen on St. Patrick's Day 2020. She disappeared after spending the night with friends at an apartment on Bridge Street in Derry. Last week, a private drone operator, acting on a suggestion from a volunteer who directed him here, identified several areas of interest in a marsh near a Derry country club. Within days, police found human remains, and now those remains have been identified as Amanda.
I'm pretty sure that marsh that they're talking about I'm pretty sure it's associated with Beaver Pond there, but I could be wrong.
Amanda's mom, who is raising Amanda's daughter, the identification is helping family turn a corner.
I have good days and bad days. Today, obviously, like I said, brings us on the road where we can have closure.
Always had hope for the last 5 years, and now that hope is gone.
Joan O'Connor, Amanda's aunt, is still coming to terms with the news that Amanda is identified.
At least we have her. We have a body. That's a huge piece. So the rest of it is up to the police to find out the rest of the information.
While the Amanda Grzelski investigation is not over, law enforcement must now determine how she got into that marsh and if Amanda was a victim of foul play.
So let me share this really quick. So here's Beaver Lake here, and this is where basically she was found. She was basically found in here, but I'm pretty sure that this is a kind of drainage to this here. It might not be. And this is the golf course here. 28 here. This goes back into Derry here, and then this goes back down to I want to say Salemish. So this is I mean, she might have just gotten stuck out here. Who knows? This is but Derry, New Hampshire is notorious for its drug activity, especially up towards the middle of town. Beautiful golf course though, but it's I would not be surprised if this could be some sort of a drug-related type thing, or my opinion. You have a Russian blue cat? She's the scariest animal I've ever owned. What's this here? Spank Trevision? Dino. One of the Boston Marathon bombers was recently featured on one of the Boston stations. Yeah. I've been pretty much communicating with this guy, Bob Ward, for, I don't know, 5 years or so. So I try to run by things as much as possible with him to see if he's in the know. I talked to him last week about the Murray thing. But anyways, okay, so let's go on to something else. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play a few more things and then we'll get out of here. How's that sound? Let's do, we did the Micah Miller thing, right? Did we do the, let's do, what did we do? Did we do the 1983 cold case? Okay, so let me share this here. So this is part of a cold case that we've been following here. The car involved in the 1983 cold case pulled from Fox River and Elgin. This was done 4 days ago. A significant breakthrough in decades-old case has led to the discovery of human remains in a vehicle pulled from the Fox River on Tuesday. According to Elgin Police, the Kane County Coroner's Office discovered skeletal remains inside a 1980 Toyota Celica. Did we do this last week? So let's play this here. I'll keep covering the Amanda Grzuski case too, just in case they find out. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to take long to figure out what happened.
1983, 23-year-old Karen Sheeper was having a night out with coworkers, and then she vanished.
And today, decades later, police and volunteers are searching the Fox.
Did we do this last week? Or was that the volunteer with the drone? Yeah, that was the drone. I think there was a tip, though. I think somebody did call in a tip, and that's why they sent the drone guy out there. Remains found last week in Bloomington, Indiana, waiting for positive ID. Lots of people think it may be Lawrence Spear. It might be. I know that's what shit, now I don't know if Fire and Ice said. My doctor gave me a lollipop. I'm good. Remember, you just get lollipops at banks too. You don't get that shit anymore either. You know why? Because it just rots people's teeth out. Yeah, sorry, Dino, he won't be able to see you or Shibby. Who? All right, so let's go to this. Did we do this last week?
River. NBC5's Courtney Sisk takes us there.
Out on the Fox River Monday morning, dive crews and Elgin police detectives embarked on a mission to crack a cold case from 1983.
Here we are almost 40 years later, and we're exhausting every investigative method and lead that we can.
April 16th, 1983, Karen Sheepers was at a Carpentersville bar with coworkers until 1 a.m. But she and her yellow 1980 Toyota Celica.
It's a car. I remember the Celica. Remember the I think this was the Cucka car, but they had the Celica. What was it? The Celica GT. That was a nice freaking car. It was the more sportier version of this car here, but this was a good car.
Have not.
Our detectives have discussed is possibly that her vehicle went into the water the evening that she went missing.
The Elgin Police Department started a new cold case unit and podcast last year.
It was the Supra, right? There was the Celica and then the Supra, which was the better, you know, they put more muscle into this car. This car here was awesome. This car, and then Datsun had the Datsun. I had the Datsun 283ZX with the flip-up lights. Anyways, sorry.
Here, Sheeper's case is the top of their list.
There's never going to be a right time to do something that has been sitting for many years.
According to the Detectives podcast, there is no record that shows any water searches for Sheepers or her car in the 80s, despite the Fox River and several other ponds near her route home. Investigators have identified several access points that they believe she could have driven her car into the river from, and they're spending this week investigating in those areas.
Over the years, it kind of settles into.
Sam Nordquist. Sorry, I haven't been able to keep up with the chat as much as I'd like to. Functional medicine, they were a combo of Western medicine model, like here, and also naturopathic, plus go even deeper. It's like mold toxicity and testing. I had a 1992 Super Turbo back in the day. Yeah. It does sound like a nightmare. Hold on a second. I want to show people this here because this is the 280ZX was a good car too. It had the heated seats. This was a car here. This was the Supra here, and then this was the regular, Celica here. But this car could move. This was a good car. I don't know what they put in there. But it was really good on corners and everything. This car would rival any Alfa Romeo or anything. This car was really good. Maybe not with these tires, but I remember my buddy had one of these cars. It was a really good car. Sam Kinison had a white GTA 2. Is that what he had? Very, very sad. I'm not, I'd lose, I will look that up though, for sure. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Sam Kennison. Wow. Okay, so let's get back to this here. Hold on a second. What the hell am I doing? Here we go.
Kind of a dull ache and a total lack of, pretty much a lack of expectations.
We spoke with Sheeper's older brother,
What did I just do? Sorry.
Gary, over the phone. He hopes the new light on her story will bring his family answers.
It has an effect. It's always had an effect, and it will continue to have an effect. And it would be good to know.
Dive crews with Chaos Divers will spend all week using sonar technology to search bodies of water nearby. In Elgin, Courtney Sisk, NBC5 News.
So we're starting here with a developing story this morning in Elgin. Here's a live look from Sky 5 at the Fox River. A car linked to a 1983 cold case was found in the river last night, and right now police are preparing to bring it out of the water.
Sandra Torres is live for us at the scene in Elgin to tell us more about the investigation. Sandra, what's the latest?
Well, we heard from the Elgin police chief about an hour ago, and she said that crews will begin working on getting that car out of the Fox River around 12:30. So that will begin shortly. She also described how new technology helped them find that vehicle yesterday on the first day of that renewed search.
With the use of sonar technology, Chaos Divers located several sites of interest in the Fox River that were explored. At 4:50,
I think they found the car. So they human remains in a vehicle pulled from the Fox River, but I don't think they've identified the remains yet. So I don't know if they know it's her or not. I'm not sure.
2 p.m. yesterday at a location northwest of the Slade Avenue boat launch, a vehicle was identified. A diver then conducted further assessment of the vehicle and was able to locate a license plate.
And this morning, Elgin police and dive crews began setting up equipment.
I know there were two cars. We watched one a few weeks ago. I don't know if this was the same one. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but they pulled a car it was an older car, and they pulled out like half of it. So I think this is a different one that I'm thinking about. This is Karen Shepard's here. I kind of looked that up for you.
In the area near the Slade Avenue boat launch. Overnight, police roped off that area to make sure nobody got close so they could recover the vehicle from the water. Now, the vehicle they found is a yellow 1980 Toyota Celica with red stripes. That's the vehicle that Karen Scheepers was driving when she vanished in 1983. Elgin's police chief said once the vehicle is out of the water, they'll have much more work to do.
Once the vehicle has been safely removed from the Fox River, a determination will be made if any human remains are in the vehicle. It is important to stress that this is the beginning of what is still considered an open and active investigation.
And this discovery would not have been possible without the work of two detectives who now work on Elgin Police's new cold case unit. They launched a podcast describing in detail why they decided to pursue the theory that Karen Scheepers' vehicle likely ended up in the Fox River as she made her way home from a bar on that day in 1983. And Karen Scheepers' family, of course, has been holding on to hope for more than 4 decades. We understand that her mother is in her 90s, her older brother, very much hoping that today they'll finally get the answers they've been searching for. Reporting live in Elgin, Sandra Torres, NBC5 News.
Sandra, thank you.
All right, hold on one second. I'm going to try to let's go to this one here. I hate ads so bad. 1983, I had a Mongoose BMX bike. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. SG, not SH. The other one was the older couple. That's right. That was a half car. Remember, they pulled the half car out. It was not much of a car. You're welcome, buddy. These ads are on hold on a second. Let me just do this first before I lose my mind here. Hold on one second. These ads are just terrible. Oh, Mustang's going to sleep. All right. Have a good night, buddy. Good to see you. Mustang's awesome. You use Firefox browser with ad block. Yeah, I'll have to try that. Have a good week, Mustang. Good to see you. Always good to see you here in the chat. Yeah, they've been finding a lot of cars and lots of waterways. All right, so this is the story of Karen Scheepers. Chicago area officials have fished a vehicle out of the river containing skeletal remains, possibly belonging to the woman who went missing nearly 42 years ago. So this is a really old case here. Investigators found the vehicle Monday in the Fox River and pulled it out of the water Tuesday. Along with the vehicle, investigators found license plates matching those belonging to Karen Scheepers, who was 23 years old on Friday. She was 23 years old on Friday, April 15th, 1983, when she went to a bar and then disappeared. That's a long time ago, 1983. Wow. MTV was like in its infancy there. At the time, Scheepers drove no computers, no phones, cell phones, no nothing. Just plenty of hairspray. At the time, Scheepers drove a yellow 1980. That was an expensive car back then. With the license plate, there's the license. The next morning on April 16th, Scheepers and her vehicle disappeared. It's possible she drove into this lake here. It said in the news release at the time, Kane County Coroner's Office had confirmed, though a forensic pathologist, the presence of skeletal remains that were located inside the vehicle. Investigators are now tasked with comparing DNA samples or dental records to see if the skeletal remains belong to Scheepers. This process could take weeks. So there's that. Why aren't they getting the rest of the car? Could because it's probably so far down into the hold on a second. Let me keep playing this here. Okay. I've never tried Firefox. I don't know why. I guess I'm stuck in the world of Chrome. Ugh.
So we're starting here with the biggest clue in a 42-year-old cold case being pulled from the Fox River today. Take a look. The car that Karen Scheepers was driving the night that she disappeared in April of 1983 was lifted out of the water. And this discovery gives investigators hope that they can find some answers that have eluded them all this time. Our Courtney Sisk has been in Elgin for the last 2 days covering this story. She's joining us live with what happened there today. Courtney?
Hi, Alex. We are in Elgin.
Did we look for this? North Grove. It's possible that she went to the bar here and maybe drove into the lake. You think that's possible?
Right now at the Slade Avenue boat launch. And that's where last night dive crews just offshore here found a vehicle in the water. And when a diver went down, they saw the license plate, and it was the same license plate that Karen Scheepers' car had in 1983. And they just spent the entire day pulling it out of the water. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, this 1980 Toyota Celica is back on dry land. The car was found at the bottom of the Fox River near Slade Avenue Park last night. Elgin Police's cold case unit and nationally known chaos divers were on a...
That's the one, the Martin's family car. Yep. That was that big car, right? That was the last call at the tavern. Yes, that's the one we covered a couple of weeks ago. I'm just used to Google Chrome. Chrome sucks just like StreamYard. Yeah. I've been trying to figure out whether I want to go back with the other one instead of StreamYard, but hold on a second. Let me know if you guys can hear this. All right, let's go back to this here.
Mission to find it. It belonged to Karen Scheepers, who vanished April 16th, 1983, after leaving a Carpentersville bar heading home to Elgin.
The department reopened this case this year.
The cold case unit launched last year, and its first case was Scheepers. The detectives said there was no record the Fox River or other bodies of water were searched in the 80s, despite them being so close to Scheepers' potential routes home. So that's where they started.
The theories of what happened to Karen included that Karen's vehicle could potentially be in the Fox River.
Tuesday, dozens of onlookers were captivated by the break in the case, watching as crews worked to pull the car out.
40 plus years is a long time for somebody to come and take a look at what's going on over here.
Investigate.
It almost looks like that's kind of like a parking spot. Is that what that is? Like a parking? Where's this? Damn it. North Grove Ave. Hold on a second here. Where were we? Right here.
They have been searching for over the past 40 years, and hopefully a sense of peace.
And I did speak with Karen's oldest brother over the phone today. He tells me, of course, they wished for answers 42 years ago when this happened, but they are happy to finally have an update, the first update that they've really had in the past 4 decades. Now they're waiting to see from the coroner's office if there's any identifiable remains inside of that car. And of course, we will continue to stay on this story until we find out those answers as well. We'll send it back to you.
And our top story here at 6 o'clock, a major development in the case of an Elgin woman who went missing in 1983.
Dive teams finally found her car was submerged in the Fox River. It had been underwater for more than 40 years. NBC5's Courtney Sisk is near Slade Avenue Park in Elgin, where police finally pulled that car out of the river.
Dive crews first located the car here last night in the Fox River, and it had the same license plate as Karen Sheeper's car. She disappeared in the 1980s, but today her family has more answers than they've had in the past 40 years.
40 plus years is a long time for somebody to come and take a look at what's going on over here.
Dozens of onlookers captivated by a quack in a 42-year-long cold case. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, this 1980 Toyota Celica was back on land. The car was found at the bottom of the Fox River near Slade Avenue Park last night. Elgin Police's cold case unit and nationally known Chaos divers were on a mission to find it. It belonged to Karen Sheepers, who vanished April 16, 1983, after leaving a Carpentersville bar heading home to Elgin.
The department reopened this case this year.
The cold case unit launched last year, and its first case was Sheepers. The detectives said there.
All right, so hold on 1 second here. My daughter, what I miss? Not much. Hold on a second. I do want to get so this is where we're at. This is hold on, let me pull up the legend here. This is North River Road. So this is basically the Route 14 here. This is the Fox River. So we're pretty much, let's go over here. Birch Lane. Where the hell am I going? Hold on a second. We need to go this way. Okay, so there's the river. Whoop. Why can't I go that way? Anyways, there's the river there. Here's the river here. Oh, this is a better location here. So this must be a walking path here. This must be the park. Do you think this is the park? Looks like it. All right. Let's get out of this here.
There was no record the Fox River or other bodies of water were searched in the 80s, despite them being so close to Sheepers' potential routes home. So that's where they started.
The theories of what happened to Karen included that Karen's vehicle could potentially be in the Fox River.
There it was, frozen in time for 42 years.
The Sheepers family will finally be able to get answers that they have been searching for over the past 40 years, and hopefully a sense of peace.
Investigators and the coroner's office will now need to search to see if anything is preserved and identifiable inside the vehicle. I spoke with Karen's oldest brother over the phone today. He tells me that they are pleased with the new cold case unit, happy to have at least some more answers than they have in the past 42 years. Now they are just waiting to hear if there are any identifiable remains inside of that car. Reporting in Elgin, Courtney Sisk, NBC5 News.
Yeah, I think that was the remains identified. What's this?
So we're starting here with the biggest clue in a 42-year-old cold case being.
Here we go. That is her, right? But they don't know. This is a day ago, so let's check this out.
Pulled from the Fox River today. Take a look. The car that Karen Sheepers was driving the night that she disappeared in April of 1983 was lifted out of the water. And this discovery gives investigators hope that they can find some answers that have eluded them all this time. Our Courtney Sisk has been in.
No, we're going to end up in a van down by the river. That is too freaking funny, SG. Dave just ran a stop sign. Maps are way better than Cube's maps. Yeah, it's tough because things change and you get like this. Mexi's the best. Mexi's the best at maps. But like this map I was looking at earlier, it's probably the middle of the summertime here, or close to that, and they're fishing this thing out in March, so it's a little bit different. But anyways, let's go back to this here.
In Elgin for the last 2 days covering this story. She's joining us live with what happened there today. Courtney?
Yeah, this is exactly where we were, kind of in here. There's a park in here somewhere, and I think it's this here. Not sure. Pretty close.
Hi, Alex. We are in Elgin right now at the Slade Avenue boat launch. And that's where last night dive crews just offshore here found a vehicle in the water. And when a diver went down, they saw the license plate, and it was the same license plate that Karen Sheeper's car had in 1983. And they just spent the entire day pulling it out of the water. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, this 1980 Toyota Celica is back on dry land. The car was found at the bottom of the Fox River near Slade Avenue Park last night.
Okay, no problem. Let me hold on a second.
Elgin Police's cold case unit and nationally known Chaos divers were on a mission to find it. It belonged to Karen Sheepers, who vanished April 16th, 1983, after leaving a Carpentersville bar heading home to Elgin.
The department reopened this case this year.
The cold case unit launched last year, and its first case was Sheepers.
Let me know if anybody else wants a wrench to Miranda. Was that when that dude Marv barfed all over? Chris Farley was an amazing, awesome comedian. The guy is just amazing. Yeah, watch out for the wrenches. They're coming. They're coming at you.
Detectives said there was no record the Fox River or other bodies of water were searched in the 80s, despite them being so close to Sheeper's potential routes home. So that's where they started.
The theories of what happened to Karen included that Karen's vehicle could potentially be in the Fox River.
Today, dozens of onlookers were captivated by the break in the case, watching as crews worked to pull.
All right, let me know if that worked. Farley was hilarious. Yeah, Farley was amazing. She's not a dude, and she did vomit outside the courthouse. Are you talking about Marv? I haven't seen Marv in a while.
Car out.
40 plus years is a long time for somebody to come and take a look at what's going on over here.
Investigators and the coroner's office will now need to search to see if anything is preserved and identifiable inside the vehicle, frozen in time for 42 years.
The Sheepers family will finally be able to get answers that they have been searching for over the past 40 years. And
I think we watched this, so we'll get out of this one here. I want to play one more case, and I'm following, and then we'll get out of here. This is another one of those cases that you just really crazy cases. So this is I've been following this case for a little while here. This is the case of this fire captain here. Apparently she was unalived by her wife. So Yolanda Marodi pleaded not guilty to a first-degree unaliving charge in her wife's death. She's accused of poking Cal Fire Captain Rebecca Marodi in the death of Ramona at the Ramona home February 17th, so about a month ago, a little over a month ago. So here's this here, and then we'll get out of here. 7 minutes. She was actually arraigned at the hospital.
A voice to victims like Becky Marodi, the decorated California fire captain who was murdered in her home, allegedly by her wife. The suspect, Yolanda Marodi, is now in custody, captured across the border in Mexicali after spending a month in the wind. She was arraigned from her hospital room. More now from Scripps News San Diego's Lourdes Acevedo.
Yolanda Marodi appeared in court from a hospital bed Wednesday, pleading not guilty to the murder of her wife, CAL FIRE Captain Rebecca Marodi. A judge ordered us not to show her face, but we saw her lying down, connected to oxygen. The judge denied her bail, citing what he called the extreme violence in this case, revealing Captain Marodi had 34 stab or slash wounds, also citing Yolanda's previous criminal history, having been convicted of voluntary manslaughter for killing her then husband in the year 2000. Captain Marodi's mother and other family and friends present for the arraignment.
I am grateful to our law enforcement partners, both in the United States and in Mexico, who collaborated to bring the defendant back here so that the victim's family can start that process to justice.
The deputy district attorney couldn't comment on why Yolanda was in the hospital, but afterwards, a family.
He was drinking? Ben Stiller's amazing. Ben Stiller and Jim Carrey. Liar, Liar, like one of the funniest freaking movies ever. My favorite movie from Jim Carrey, though, is what's that movie with what's her face? Sunshine, something of a Beautiful Mind, or whatever to call it. All right, let's go back to this here.
Friend of Captain Marodi's told me she questions Yolanda's motives and whether or not anything is actually medically wrong with her. On Tuesday, the CAL FIRE Captain's family and friends gathered for her celebration of life.
I know that somewhere she's laughing that infectious laugh, probably telling inappropriate jokes to St. Peter and waiting for the rest of us to catch up.
If convicted, Yolanda Marodi faces 25 years to life in prison. Her next court date is set for late April. In El Cajon, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Lots of questions here. Let's start with why her face had to be pixelated with the video and the court saying we can't show her from the hospital room. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor David Bruno on this. David, people have questions because, as you know, when this lady was captured in Mexico
39 times. Unbelievable. Just got this little suspect here.
Mexicali, and she was handed over to U.S. Marshals. She looked fine. We have video of that. It didn't appear that anything was wrong with her. Let's show the video now, and feel free to comment.
Jim Carrey, if you ever watch Evening at the Improv, remember Evening at the Improv? As far as I'm concerned, he was one of the funniest comedians there. He did a great Sammy Davis Jr. It's just absolutely amazing. But he was good in Living Color too, for sure. But a lot of people don't know that he did the Evening at the Improv, and he was there quite a few times. But when he did the Sammy Davis Jr. thing, it's freaking hilarious.
Comment over this as we watch it together, David. What do you think maybe why the judge didn't want her face broadcast?
He sings Mr. Bojangles is just so freaking funny.
Just caution. I mean, she's in a treatment facility, right? I mean, there's some like physician-patient privileges that we talk about with communications, and the fact that she's in the hospital, maybe. I mean, I think there's a lot of discretion that went into that particular decision. Julia, I had a similar situation when I was a prosecutor. We were investigating the death of a priest, and the janitor of the particular school came back next day and feigned some medical event as well. He was brought to the hospital, and we followed the evidence all the way to his house, where we found bloody towels and a knife, and then went.
Yeah, this is such an awful case here. It's just and she's she's on the hook for another one before this too, I think, and we'll see if they're going to try to everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but when people start to you got this trail of unalivings going on behind you here. It's a little bit suspect, I guess.
Went to interview him, getting a confession later in the hospital.
39 times. That's pretty. To me, that tells me that that's pretty personal right there.
So maybe the feigning of these particular issues on this particular defendant, but again, she fled consciousness of guilt a month since the particular murder. So I can't see how this medical issue is going to play out in the particular murder case.
Right. How about that issue spotting? You're doing a brilliant job.
It's just like everybody cries afterwards, right? People will start crying after unalivings. It's so weird. This is why we must run background checks on our dates. Absolutely. I just recommend not going on dates at all. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Remember Rocky?
Job this morning, David, with the consciousness of guilt. You've pointed out in 3 of our cases this morning, all 3.
Yep.
And all domestic violence cases. These facts are very telling in the behaviors. I have a clip for you. This is a beautiful clip. This is how friends of Captain Becky Marody were remembering her at her funeral.
This is so sad. Just awful. Terrible.
Well, Becky wasn't the first woman to put on turnouts and get the job done. She was one that did it. She did it very well. She did it her way.
She taught us that heroism isn't just in the flames. It's in the way you show up for people every single day.
I mean, dating is so like, it gives me like stress. Just, oof. Do people even go to the movies anymore? Is that a thing?
The only firefighter I've ever seen, Mom, wake up with wool socks on her hands. I think she had every stitch of clothes in her day bag.
I know that somewhere she's laughing that infectious laugh, probably telling inappropriate jokes to St. Peter and waiting for the rest of us to catch up.
So mourn as we must, but then let's get back out there and for Becky, kick up some dust.
So, if anybody else wants a wrench, let me know. Yes, it's sad. This is super. Dating is overrated. Dating is outdated. Period. I did pick you from the shed.
She's the victim. She's the victim. Becky Marody. That's who we want to focus on, not Yolanda Marody. Except
you ever go to one of those speed dating things where you all sit at the table and it's just so stupid. Oh God.
For just discussing how she's going to be prosecuted. David Bruno, you've done many, many cases as a prosecutor. How do you foresee this one going?
Yeah, just look at that package. I mean, this is a life of impact. This is a life of service. I'm a big proponent of doing hard things. All right. Oftentimes, fear keeps us back from ultimate growth and improvement in our lives and our careers. And this particular woman, look at
it, just sucks that somebody like this had to die. It's just awful. She's fighting the good fight. Fighting fires is not the easiest thing to do. She's a fire captain. Now she's gone. It's just awful.
this. She rose to the level of captain as a service woman, going into fires and saving people. We've seen all the devastating fires in California throughout the country, and it just makes me think of impact and service of this woman, and I applaud her.
Yeah, you're so right, David. She is who's going to be remembered in all this. Becky Marody is going to be remembered for all the reasons you stated, being a real life hero. Her wife, maybe the prosecution will be pretty non-remarkable, you know. I mean, maybe this will wind up a plea.
Conviction too.
Mm-hmm.
The prior
oh yeah,
conviction.
She stabbed.
Yeah, they're gonna literally that'll be. I don't even know if they're going to be able to bring that into court though, but I'm pretty sure they will. You know, it's just sucks. This is awful.
Her husband, her former husband, Yolanda Marody, did that, and so we'll see if she goes to trial on this. David, thank you for the insight. And as we take a look at this photo on our wall, where we remember the victims and put the focus on the victims. This morning, we want to send love.
Absolutely. It's all about the victims. It doesn't change. It's never going to change. It's always about the victim. When you hear stories like this, it's just why. You know, the question is why. 39 times. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. Been a while. Jenny, thank you so much. You don't believe in love, either do I. Being single for 12 years, I'm kind of used to it. Yep. Single is good. There's nothing wrong with being single. Let's put it this way. When you're single, you got a lot of choices. Jenny, thank you. Dino, you're awesome. Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're well, buddy. Always good to see Mino Dino in here. Southern Gal, what would I do without you? You're amazing, amazing person. Paula, thank you very much for coming in. All these channels, Southern Gal's got a great channel. Paula's got a great channel. Jocelyn's in here too. Jocelyn's got an amazing channel. Hope you're okay, Jocelyn. It's good to see you as well. Dirty Diana's got an awesome channel. Check her out. She's gonna need subscribers. She's awesome. Very good stuff there. And feel free to throw your chats in the chat here, all your channels. Who else has been in here? Sweet dude, Shibby, welcome to the live. You're welcome for the wrench. Good to see you. Jenny, thank you so much. I'm just trying to scroll up here. I know Gail was in here. We're thinking of Gail. Heather, you're amazing. Heather, you're just amazing person. You keep us updated on what's going on with you, please. We love Heather in here. Heather's amazing. Tracy Fleetwood, thank you so much for coming in. It's always good to see new people in here. Hope you liked it. People on the replay, thank you very much for watching the replay. I know there's a lot of people that watch my replays because I'm just up way too late. Dirty Diana's awesome. Thank you so much for all your information. Can't wait to your next live. Why was she in the hospital? Who was in the hospital? Let's see here. I'm going to miss. I know Miranda was in here. Miranda's awesome. Miranda's an amazing person. I hope Miranda's doing well. It's always good to have Miranda in here. Who else was in here? Mustang 65 was in here. J-Lo, Lisa Joe was in here. Did I say J-Lo? I mean L-Joe. It's just, I don't know. Sorry. Let's just think of J-Lo. Oh, shut up. I don't know what to tell. All right. Who else was in here? So it happens at 4 o'clock in the morning. All right. So I'm probably not going to be able to get to anybody. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is with the StreamYard. You can't, once you're done, down the bottom, you can't scroll up all the time. The thing jumps on you all the time. I hope everybody has a great week. I hope everybody stays safe. Don't die, whatever you do. I hope Honeybee's okay. I haven't seen her for a while. I hope Charlotte's okay too. I haven't seen her for a while either. I hope that Barbara's okay. Haven't seen her for a while. But it's always good to see everybody in here. I'm going to get out of here now. You guys have a great week. Don't die. And hey, we made it without losing power. So there you go. I'll play my outro, get out of here, and you guys, all right. Let me play my outro. Everybody have a great week.